You ever have one of those moments where you realize your dream home might just be the start of your worst nightmare? Yeah. Picture this. The sun's dropping behind the pine trees, lake turning gold, and I'm standing on my own slice of heaven, stacking stones for a fire pit by the water, thinking life finally gave me a break. Bruno, my golden retriever, tail wagging like he's about to win the lottery, me just savoring the smell of pine and earth, already planning marshmallows under the stars. And then, bam, right on cue, the voice. That voice. Like nails on a chalkboard if the chalkboard ran the HOA. Excuse me, what do you think you're doing? I turn, half hoping it's just a hallucination from too much sun, but nope. Karen Reynolds, queen of the lake. Hair shellacked in place, blue suit crisp like she's still on the clock, and, of course, that clipboard. She's planted at the edge of my property, glaring like I just dug up Jimmy Hoffa. I'm building a fire pit. I tell her, trying to keep it civil, brushing dirt off my jeans. Her eyes go beady. A fire pit by the lake? You can't do that. It's against HOA safety regs. Now, I'm a patient man. I'm not in the HOA, Karen. You'd think I'd told her gravity was a myth. Not in the HOA. Everyone around this lake is. Not this patch, I say. Bought before the HOA existed. The deed's clear. But Karen, bless her controlling soul, just starts scribbling, then stalks off, muttering about unauthorized activity like she's the FBI. I honestly thought that was it. Until a few minutes later, I hear gravel crunch, look up, and there it is, red and blue lights flashing across my peaceful lake. She'd called the cops. That's when things really went sideways. See, moving here was supposed to be simple. 6 months ago, I left the city behind for a bit of quiet. Build a fire pit, grill with friends, teach Bruno to swim without raiding picnics. But next to Karen, might as well have moved into a minefield. Second day after moving in, she's at my door, grinning with the warmth of a DMV clerk, handing me a pamphlet thicker than my mortgage. Lawn color regs, mailbox height, fence style, even acceptable shades of mulch. I told her, Karen, I'm not under your rules. She just laughed. Oh, don't worry. We'll get that sorted out. Should have known. Sorted out meant controlled. She kept coming by, pointing out violations. My mailbox was too rustic. Bruno's bark disturbed the peace. Funny how he only barked when she walked by. Still, I tried to be neighborly. Even helped her husband Tom fix a fence once. Good guy, seemed exhausted, like he'd been riding out her storms for years. So, on this particular evening, when the sheriff's cruiser rolls up, I'm just tired. Deputy steps out. Young guy, decent, already giving me the sorry about this look. Karen's right there, arms folded, launching into her speech. He's violating the HOA, building too close to the water, endangering community property. Deputy looks at me. Evening, sir. Mind telling me what's going on? Karen's cutting in again, refusing to follow rules. This is all HOA land. I finally get a word in. Officer, this is my private property. Got the deed in the house. Never join the HOA. Karen rolls her eyes. Everyone says that, until they get fined. Deputy turns. Ma'am, is your name on this deed? She goes all insulted, but he insists. So I fetch my paperwork, hands shaking, not from guilt, just worn-out nerves. Deputy flips through, nods, whistles. He's right, ma'am. Bought before the HOA. Not under your jurisdiction. Karen looks like she's been sucker punched. For the first time since moving in, she's speechless. And honestly, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Later, under a silver moon, the fire pit crackling, Bruno snoring by my side, I should have felt peace. But something was off. I kept catching a flicker in the bushes, a movement just outside the firelight. Bruno's ears twitch. I grab my flashlight, call out. Nothing. Just crickets and wind. Then, by the fence, I spot a glint. Karen's phone, pink case, cracked screen. Dropped while spying, maybe? I leave it on my porch rail. Figured she'd come hunting in the morning. Except that night, things got weirder. Hours later, I spot a red glow by the lake. Fire pit relit, flames higher than before, stinking of lighter fluid. I hadn't touched it. Karen, I yell, but her place is dark, curtains drawn. Bruno's on edge, barking at the woods. I hose the fire down, hands shaking, then see muddy footprints, small, barefoot, not mine, leading back into the trees. A chill hits me. Was Karen trying to scare me off, or was someone else prowling around? Next morning, she's on my porch, livid. I know what you did last night. Fire department got a call. Karen, I say, I put the fire out hours ago. Someone else, she snaps, don't lie. Just because you're not in the HOA doesn't mean you can do whatever you want. I mentioned the footprints. Bare ones, suggesting she check her cameras. She hesitates, says her cameras stopped recording after 9. Convenient. She storms off, Bruno watching her like she's the boogeyman. After she leaves, I find a charred sign by the fire pit. Private property. Keep out. Not mine. Someone burned a message right on my land. It's starting to feel less like Karen and more like someone trying to frame her, or us both. A little later, another sheriff pulls up, older guy, Deputy Collins. He asks about another fire call. I explain, show him the footprints and the burnt sign. He takes it for evidence. Karen's peeking from her curtains, nervous as a kid caught with her hand in the cookie jar. Collins just shakes his head. She's always watching, isn't she? Always, I tell him. That afternoon, Tom comes by. Looks worried, tired. Says Karen's scared. Saw someone by the lake last night, carrying a red light. Not me, not him. A lantern maybe? I ask. He shrugs, just knows Karen hasn't slept. Keep your doors locked, he says, and I can tell he means it. Night falls, moon bright on the water. Bruno growls, staring across the lake. There's a figure on the far side, right where the HOA line meets my property. Flickering red light in his hand. He just stands there, still as death, then the light blinks out. I lock up tight that night, every creak setting my nerves on edge. But I see him again, closer, taller, a man, not Karen. He's digging around my fire pit, pockets something, vanishes into the woods. At dawn, I find a metal tag in the dirt, property of HOA Maintenance 2021. Doesn't add up, this close to my land? Only ever saw Tom doing maintenance, and never here. Then Collins calls, found lighter fluid and metallic residue on the burnt sign. Not random vandalism. Someone wanted to send a message. He adds, Karen called again. Reported a trespasser with a red light. So now, it's clear, it isn't just Karen messing with me. Later, I confront Karen with the tag. She says it's from the HOA maintenance shed. One of 3 keys went missing last year. Then, as if on cue, we see the red light by my fire pit. This time, brighter, pointed right at us. I walk toward it, flashlight out, and see his face. Pale, expressionless, streaked with ash. He bolts. I chase, but he disappears into the woods. Then, a splash in the lake. Ripples spreading out. I stand there, cold, wondering just what I've gotten into. By morning, another metal tag turns up. This one from 2018, before the HOA even formed. Collins says there might be old maintenance paths running through the woods, routes nobody remembers. That evening, the mood shifts. Karen's not just controlling now, she's scared. You should never have built that fire pit, she whispers. It woke something up. The next morning, fog heavy as a shroud, I'm at the lake. Bruno's restless, sniffing along the water's edge. I spot a handle, pull out a rusted lockbox. Lakeshore HOA records. Karen sees it and freezes. She tells me there was an old HOA before hers. President vanished, drowned in a storm, along with the group's secrets and a lot of missing money. We open the box. Inside, a moldy ledger and 3 rings, all engraved HR. Karen goes white. Her father, Henry Reynolds, was the first HOA president. But he died, supposedly drowned. Only, the fog on the lake thickens, and suddenly, a figure limps out of the trees. Old, soaked clothes, a glint of metal on his wrist. Karen gasps, "That's my father." The figure vanishes into the mist, leaving us shaken and more confused than ever. The next day, after a sleepless night, I find a body in the lake. It's Henry Reynolds, preserved, somehow, not decayed. The sheriff says he looks like he died days ago, not years. Karen breaks down. Her father wasn't a good man. The old HOA did some ugly things, seized land, laundered money, then vanished. The lake hid their sins, she whispers. Collins and his team start diving. They pull up barrels, sealed, heavy, some with bones inside. Karen loses it, says her father used to come home smelling like gasoline, late-night meetings by the water. He wasn't a victim, he was hiding bodies. That night, I see Karen wandering down to the water, barefoot in a nightgown, lost in some trance. I chase after her. The lake erupts, a fifth barrel pops to the surface. Karen's convinced her father's still out there, waiting to take anyone who exposes him. The barrel spins, bumps from the inside, then sinks again. By morning, the divers pull it out, deep scratches, bent bolts. Inside, a sealed bag with old photos. The photos show Henry with Tom, Karen's husband, posing beside the barrels. Only, the date on one is just 5 years ago. Tom's gone, vanished. Karen's shattered. That night, red lights, 5 of them, glide across the water, ghostly lanterns pulsing with ancient secrets. Voices whisper, he broke the seal. She knows the truth. The lake remembers. Karen runs to the water, screaming for Tom. He appears on the far shore, soaked, terrified, confesses he helped Henry hide the evidence. I thought it was over when he died, but the last barrel wasn't supposed to surface. The red lights converge. The water churns, one light dives under Tom. He's yanked under, gone in seconds. The sheriff never finds his body. Karen, empty-eyed, tells me. The lake only keeps what it wants. Maybe now it's full. But that night, I see a single red glow under the surface by my fire pit. Flickers once, twice, then fades. And in the hush that follows, I hear a voice, maybe wind, maybe not. Whisper, the lake remembers. Tell me, do you think justice ever really stays buried? Or do some secrets always come back up for air? Drop your thoughts below. Share your own stories about justice and truth. And let's see who else has seen what their neighbors want to hide.